school won't be so bad.
I will call you every day.
You'll see. A year will go by fast.
But it really was the truck.
Rated P for teen.
PlayStation.
In the meantime, Dave Goodrich is in the chat. He's the designer of Vigilante 8, 1 and 2. He's the designer of the Star Wars car combat game. He's one of the designers of TwistedMetal Small Brawl and TwistedMetal Online, the network game, TwistedMetal Black Online. Ask him some questions.
Grasshopper's cut ending is doing great. Thanks for all the support. Keep hitting the like button and commenting on these videos so they get more visibility on YouTube. Interaction is the only way they get surfaced to new viewers on YouTube these days. I'm counting on you. So, that's it. We're knocking them down fast. We have Darkside, Mime, Trapper, and Grasshopper finished. Now the big boss himself, Piecemeal. The third vehicle I created for the TwistedMetal universe. And the final cut ending of the Small Brawl series. Or is it? I have a proposal for a taxi ending at the end of this video, so stick around. So who is Piecemeal? Piecemeal is one of the 3 new characters I created for the TwistedMetal universe. He was originally intended to be a medium-sized bonus car that players could unlock by collecting all his pieces. Some of my notes suggest players would find these pieces hidden around the levels, and other paragraphs had them dropping off defeated enemies for collection. For example, Slam would drop Slam parts, and Outlaw would drop his police lights, and so on. The players would eventually collect all the pieces to fully form Piecemeal and unlock him as a playable character. However, game development is always unpredictable, and with Minion being cut very early in development for several reasons, including his demonic origins in a kid's game, we needed a new boss, so we scrapped the parts collection aspect of Mime, Trapper, and Piecemeal, moving them elsewhere. As for the new end boss, a scaled up Piecemeal worked well thematically. As a final boss, a giant Frankensteinian RC car, composed of all the defeated car contestants. And now the player had to face this RC abomination. And so Piecemeal, the boss, was born. So this leads us to Piecemeal's boss design. Piecemeal was incomplete due to Small Brawl's time and technical limitations, which I often talk about. So how is Piecemeal going to function? He was supposed to function like Devastator from the Transformers, a childhood favorite of mine. Players would initially face off against Piecemeal, but after damaging his health bar by a third, he would fall apart on the spot instead. The cars would drive around fighting the player, grabbing weapons and power-ups. Once the player killed another car, the remaining vehicles would drive to each other and reform into Piecemeal, minus their fallen comrade. Having him fall apart and reform within the player's view would have made for a better fight and flow better overall. However, this was deemed too difficult for the time we had left on Small Brawl, leading to the compromise we have now. This unfortunately created a disjointed fight between Piecemeal and the cars disappearing and reappearing at the theater stage, breaking the flow of combat. Better than nothing, I guess. Killing a specific car would have it not visually appear on Piecemeal when he reformed, denying him of that special and adding some strategy to killing certain cars first. This request made the artist's heads explode, with all of the variations needed for the Piecemeal model to make this happen, because we never knew which car would be eliminated and in what order. And even through programming, we would have had to build a whole new attachment system, attaching the parts on and breaking them off. There just simply wasn't time for that. Even I knew this was a crazy request at the time, and it was cut. I should also mention Mime, but I won't rehash it in this video about her being a reward for defeating Piecemeal. If you're interested, go check her out in my channel, or I'll link her video to the end of this one. As for Piecemeal's special, people have often asked on my Discord if Piecemeal had a unique special like Mime was supposed to. Yes and no. Unlike Mime, who copied other cars' specials, Piecemeal's specials were a part of the cars that formed him. so it is natural for him to use those specials. However, Piecemeal was going to have a slightly different special. While he had access to all the in-level specials individually via the cars that were present, an initial design allowed him to fire 3 of them at the same time, giving him a more formidable special. However, there was not enough time to implement it, but more importantly, the logistics of several specials firing at the same time would have required extra game logic and programming. For example, how would Darkside, Hammerhead, and Twister's special work together without canceling each other out? I also suspect the extra particles would have been an issue also. Despite this, his special did end up having extra features. For example, Slam and Twister didn't get to use their weapons while performing their specials, but Piecemeal could, allowing to layer on extra damage. As for Piecemeal's boss level, well, much like Trapper, Piecemeal needed a boss level. Originally it was going to be the Mad Scientist Lab, but his huge size didn't work, with the level's rotating ramp, dumb waiter, and under-counter spaces. And players could avoid him by staying on the upper level, making him a trivial boss. We needed an open level to accommodate his new giant size. Gridiron Gore would have worked perfectly, but I strongly disliked that level. Also, it didn't feel epic enough for a boss fight. So I moved him to the movie theater and made that the final boss level. However, the movie theater had its issues, with him getting stuck between or on the seats, so we had to make the seats destructible. I felt this made him more menacing as he plowed through seats, giving the players no place to hide. The theater got some extra set pieces and environmentals needed for a memorable fight. We added a fire extinguisher to each door that could be shot, turning it into a missile that would greatly damage Piecemeal. I recall this is where his high health came from, so it would have accounted for all the environmentals, not killing him all in one shot. However, the large amount of particles the extinguisher gave off, if 2 or more were in flight, would crash the game, so we cut them down to 1, reducing it to an Easter egg. We probably should have readjusted his health a little bit too, now that there was 3 of them missing. A popcorn machine was also added. It initially would ram, carry, and damage all vehicles, including Piecemeal, down to the stage. However, this often killed all the cars in one shot, skipping the boss stages of Piecemeal. In the end, we just had it inflict no damage to the cars and only had it open the secret area below the stage. Kinda sad, but it was very difficult to get it working right. The last feature was the trash cans. When players shot these, we would throw out random power-ups about every 15 to 20th hit from a machine gun, similar to the dartboard or the spider, but less frequently. However, Sony felt that the extra weapons and power-ups made the boss fight too easy, and it was cut. This brings us to the playable version of Piecemeal. As I mentioned in the Trapper video, the playable version was smaller for a reason. The larger boss sizes on levels like Meteor Maker, Treetop Rumble, and Easy Death Oven often created a whole lot of issues we didn't have time to fix. The boss size vehicles couldn't go into certain areas or get permanently stuck inside the level geometry. This is especially bad for Piecemeal. With the development time we had left, the quickest way to get it past Sony's QA was to shrink them to sizes that was closer to the playable vehicles. However, as I mentioned before, I also reduced their special damage, health, and energy meters. Why'd I do that? I don't know. Probably to match their new sizes. The final days of Small Brawl were kind of a blur. In hindsight, this was not one of my better design decisions. Given the disappointment in the lackluster playable versions, I should have made it easier to unlock them. And I probably should have called them Piecemeal Jr. and Baby Trapper to excuse their new sizes and stats. So, what does Piecemeal look like? I have heard many fan theories. Everything from him being 3 kids in a trench coat, a stitched-together Frankenstein kid, to even a grown man entering a kids tournament. No. No on that last one. Someone suggested he is Minion or Herald. All of these would have been great except for the adult one. Now that's creepier than a demon from hell driving a tank truck. Good guesses, but you're all wrong. His laugh when using a special should be a clue that he is a kid. A kid that steals parts to build his RC car. So where did the inspiration for Piecemeal come from? Well, he is a mix of all the other contestants, a hodgepodge of them. I'm not in love with his look, but it's all we got concept-wise before the artist moved on to another project. And as I always say, Small Brawl was a budget title with few resources, and we had to use everything we got. So without any further delay, here's Piecemeal. Ta-da! We're burning through this concept art page quickly. While all the characters here are known, we haven't seen the concept art for all of them. I'll do a full reveal along with the endings in a later video. I should read his bio before the animatic for context. With each defeated contestant, Piecemeal grows stronger, adding their RCs to his. His pet magpie helps him swipe anything that's not nailed down, wearing it like a trophy to taunt the other kids. He's a little kleptomaniac. He steals everything, including other kids' clothes, and rubs it in their faces by wearing it in front of them. I swear I knew a few kids like this in middle and high school. Jerks. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to what we've been waiting for. It's going to be a complete surprise. Here we go, potentially the last animatic in the Small Brawl series. Enjoy.
Calypso, I won. Now give me my prize.
Okay, what do you want? And stay over there. I don't need you stealing my wallet again.
Fine. I wasn't able to get all the pieces I wanted for Piecemeal. And now, I want all the contestants' cars. I'm going to make Piecemeal even bigger. I will be invincible.
You want all the cars from the tournament?
Every last one. No holding out.
You asked for it.
Haha, yes. Give me more. Whoa, that's a real car. No!
That's all of them. I hope you know how to drive stick. Ha!
A crossover between TwistedMetal 2 and Small Brawl? Yes, if you recall, this already happened with Spectre's ending. Spectre's dad is Ken Masters, and he recovers Ken's iconic car, driving away with it in his ending. And while it wasn't his iconic car, he didn't have time to make it, there was a life-size ice cream truck in Sweet Tooth's ending also, hinting at the adult vehicles. This allowed for a nod to the OG games with some more crossover during Piecemeal's ending. After all, it did spawn the Small Brawl series. Well, that's it. I finished up. All the cut endings based on my notes in the Small Brawl game design document from 25 plus years ago. Now, from my initial proposal from the start of this video. If this video can get 3,000 views, 300 comments, and 300 likes this year, I will make the Taxi ending. He was cut early and didn't ship with the game, so Taxi would be a bonus ending. Let's see how badly you guys want his ending animatic. Hit those like buttons and comment the crap out of this thing. That's it, folks, and stay tuned for some bonus material. Again, thanks for your support, and I appreciate you watching this vid. Hopefully you enjoyed it.